Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupaha Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam. Vandeham Shri Guroh Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindho Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Nama Om Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swamin Iti Namine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Sunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabho Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I am very grateful and happy to be amongst all of you at iskcon Dwarka. I thank Sri Gaur Prabhu for lovingly inviting me. I thank all of you for being here this Sunday morning. I have been here, I think few years back, maybe 5-6 years back, I don't recollect exactly. I remember we were discussing on the art of studying scriptures at that time. I am very inspired to be with the devotees who are lovingly practicing devotional service with the blessings and the guidance of His Holiness Gopal Krishna Swami Maharaj. Recently I had the good fortune of going to Vrindavan and offering my obeisances at his Samadhi Mandir. And yesterday when we were coming from Vrindavan to Dwarka, this place, the team of devotees headed by Sri Gaur Prabhu were telling, Prabhu, every month we go to Maharaj's Samadhi and offer prayers and give a report of our services to our spiritual master. That is such a wonderful example. It just filled my heart with so much of happiness just to hear that. So every month they go and give a report of services. So this is how a disciple can feel the presence of spiritual master in one's life, by regularly remembering the Guru's wonderful example and following the footsteps and constantly be in a mode of serving the instructions of spiritual master. Prabhupada says that I never felt alone, because I always felt my spiritual master Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur is always with me. So a disciple constantly feels the presence of spiritual master, and that feeling is mainly because of sincerely serving the instructions of spiritual master. One of the shlokas from the 4th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam describes how much dedication the prachetas showed to serving the instructions of their guru. Who is their guru? Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva came in front of prachetas and taught them a beautiful devotional song called Rudra Gita. And these prachetas, 10 of them, 10 princes, they went underwaters and they were chanting this beautiful Rudra Gita for 10,000 years. And how sincere they were. The sincerity of prachetas is that they were doing tad dhyayanto japantascha pujayantascha samyuta. Dhyayanto, they were meditating on the instructions of their guru. Japanta, they are also chanting the instructions of guru. Pujayantaha, means they are worshipping the teachings of guru. Samyuta, they are also controlling their senses. So one should also control oneself while executing the instructions of the spiritual master. Sometimes one may get tempted or allured or distracted by Maya. So one should exhibit great amount of sense control and mind control and self-control to focus on the instructions of Guru. And that's what the prachetas did. So one can feel the presence of spiritual master in one's life by sincerely following the instructions and continuing to serve to the best of one's ability till the fag end of one's life. So that is the lesson that we can learn from the 4th canto of Bhagavatam, and that's what I could witness when I saw these great devotees. Hare Krishna. So I'm very grateful to be amongst all of you, and the organizers or the coordinators of these sessions requested me to give an overview of the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. I heard that you have been discussing the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam systematically every day. And yesterday you completed 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. So now the instruction that I received from the organizers is to give some prominent lessons from this 3rd canto this morning and this evening. The 3rd canto of Bhagavatam has 33 chapters. And in these 33 chapters, various topics are described. We see Sarga, the process of creation. We see Visarga, the process of creation done by Brahma. Sarga means the creation done by Lord Vishnu himself, the creation of the universe. And Visarga means the creation done by Lord Brahma and the Manus and the Prajapatis. This creation is basically the creation of different planetary systems and mainly the population within these planetary systems. The universe is itself created by Lord Vishnu, but the living beings within the universe are created by Brahma and his descendants. So the creation of the universe is Sarga and the creation of different details within the universe is Visarga. So these two topics are vividly described in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam. And 3rd canto of Bhagavatam also describes the stories of several wonderful personalities like Vidura, Uddhava, Maitreya Muni, Lord Brahma, his birth, his prayers, and Lord Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, his blessings and his empowerment, and later the pastimes of Lord Varaha, and a beautiful description of the spiritual world, and that historical incident where the 4 Kumaras visited Vaikuntha and cursed Jaya and Vijaya, and Jaya and Vijaya had to descend on this planet in the form of demons to participate in the Supreme Lord's pastimes. And also we see the mistake made by Diti and Kashyapa Muni's story, and eventually we'll also discuss the story of Swayambhuva Manu and his 5 children. Who are the 5 children of Swayambhu Manu? Devahuti, Akuti, Prasuti, and Uttanapad and Priyavrat. So in this third canto, the last 1/3 of the third canto is dedicated to describing the teachings of Lord Kapildev to his mother Devahuti. So you have been discussing this canto for an year or more than that, 2 years, something like that. So it's a very long canto. I think after the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, the next biggest canto in Srimad Bhagavatam is third canto, 33 chapters. In terms of its depth also, in terms of its length also, volume also. Now let us try to recollect some most important lessons from the third canto of Bhagavatam. In these 33 chapters, the first 4 chapters of the third canto are dedicated to a beautiful conversation that happened between Vidura and Uddhava. Uddhava is the personal associate of Lord Krishna. So Krishna performed his pastimes. Krishna descended about 5000 years back, and he performed so many beautiful pastimes in Vrindavan, in Mathura, in Dwarka, in Hastinapur, in Indraprastha, in many other places. But the time for his departure came, and Krishna planned to wind up this Yadu dynasty and conclude his pastimes on this earthly planet and go back to his eternal abode, which is the Goloka Vrindavan Dham. But he felt that although I went to so many places and gave my association to so many devotees during my manifest pastimes, I could not visit one place. What is that one place? Badarikashram. I could not meet the sages at Badarikashram. Now I have to conclude my pastimes. Why? You can stay for some more time and spend time with Badarikashram sages, right? But somehow Krishna felt, I need to conclude my pastimes. Someone on my behalf should go and give my association, give my teachings to the sages at Badarikashram. Then Krishna chose Uddhava. Let Uddhava go on my behalf. He's as good as me. Then Uddhava went to Krishna and said, Krishna, you're going to conclude your pastimes, right? Yes, yes, I'm going to conclude my pastimes. Then Uddhava said, I want to come with you. Please take me also with you. I cannot live in this earthly planet without you, my dear Lord. I want to travel with you. Please allow me to come with you. Then Krishna said, no, you cannot come now, because you have a service. You must go to Badarikashram and give my teachings to the sages there. After that you can come. But I'll go first. Then Krishna taught him a special episode of philosophical teachings called Uddhava Gita. This comes in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam. Basically, Bhagavatam is not chronological. It's logical, but not chronological. Right? So, Bhagavatam, you may not find the events being narrated sequentially. They are not chronological. So, Krishna taught Uddhava Gita to Uddhava, and now Uddhava took that message and went all the way to Badarikashram. He was on his way to Badarikashram. Then suddenly, on the way, Uddhava met a great personality named Vidura. Who is Vidura? Vidura is the minister of Hastinapur. He is like the brother of the king of Hastinapur, Dhritarashtra. So what was Vidura's background? We saw Uddhava's background. So Uddhava is traveling to Badarikashram on the instruction of Krishna. So that is his background. Now Vidura's background let's discuss. Once Vidura went to Dhritarashtra and said, my dear Dhritarashtra, Sa esha dosha purusha dvidaste grihan pravishto yamapatya matya. You are maintaining your son, your dearest son, Duryodhan, he will only defame your dynasty. He will only destroy your dynasty. Because he hates devotees. He hates Lord Krishna. He is not a devotee. He is not spiritually inclined. His heart is filled with malice and selfishness and greed. And you are maintaining him as your dear son. He doesn't help you in any way. There are 4 kinds of sons. You want to hear? 4 types of sons. One is Runanubandhi Putra. You understand? Runanubandhi means you, for example, you borrowed some money from someone and you could not repay and you died. Next life, the person who is supposed to take that money from you, paisa vasool from you, he'll take birth as your son and then he will extract all the money. Such people are called Runanubandhi Putras. They are trying to extract the money they were supposed to take from you from the past life. And because son is there and you have to offer whatever he demands from you. That's one category, Runanubandhi Putra. Second, Shatruputra. Shatruputra means an enemy takes birth as someone's son and takes revenge by doing all mischievous activities, naughty activities, and thus creating some pain in the heart of the parents. That is Shatruputra. Third category, Udasina Putra. Neutral. They don't serve the parents, they don't trouble the parents, they are in their own world. Completely neutral, Udasin. Then fourth category is Sevaka Putra. Sevaka means servants. So they serve the parents. They are dedicated to serving the parents both spiritually and materially. And which category Duryodhan belongs to? Not sure. But definitely he is not Sevaka Putra. Definitely he is not going to serve Dhritarashtra or the Kuru dynasty in any way. He will only defame this dynasty. He will only destroy the dynasty because of his obstinacy, his pride and his arrogance and his false ego. Right. So, Hare Krishna. Jai Jagannath Baldev Subhadramaya ki jai. So, Vidura told Dhritarashtra, you are maintaining your son unnecessarily and you are unnecessarily troubling the Pandavas. It's not proper. Bhima is hissing like a snake. He has taken so many vows that he will kill all your 100 sons. Better you don't instigate his anger. They have completed their vanavas. They came back. They are supposed to get the rightful share of their kingdom. You better offer the kingdom back to them and compromise, make a truce with them, make a sandhi with them. Don't anger them. So in this way, Vidura was giving so many good suggestions to Dhritarashtra, and as usual, Dhritarashtra is silent, not doing anything, not saying anything. Meanwhile, Duryodhan came there. He is fuming with anger. Duryodhan said, who asked the son of this kept mistress, this Dasiputra, to come and advise us against our own interests? He is supporting our enemies. He is thinking and speaking against us. What's happening? Vidura, get lost from Hastinapur. We are banishing you. As a remuneration for your lifelong service to the throne of Hastinapur, all we have to give you is the breath in your nostrils. That's all. Means we are not just killing you. So, otherwise, the anger that I have is instigating me to kill you, but I am not killing you. Get lost from this place. So Vidura was thrown out of Hastinapur. No gratitude, no respect, no etiquette. Vidura is on the level of his father, but Duryodhan is just completely disrespectful to Vidura and asked him to get out of this place. And despite all these harsh words, arrogant words spoken by Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra is not speaking anything. He is just quiet. He is not controlling his son at all. So this is the nature of an irresponsible parent. Dhritarashtra is playing the role of an irresponsible father, irresponsible king also. Not only irresponsible father, irresponsible king also. He is supposed to correct his son, but he is not correcting. He is supposed to control Duryodhan when he is disrespecting an elderly person who is on the level of his father. But somehow Vidura just left that place. But Vidura thought, here is a lesson here. I just spoke story so far, but let's discuss one important lesson here. The lesson is that although apparently it's a very painful situation for Vidura, he is a mantri, he is a minister in Hastinapur, and he is immediately taken out of that prestigious position, and he was asked to get out of the kingdom. Now he is like a mendicant or a beggar living on his own. He has no palace, he has no property, he has no bank balance, he only has his personal clothes, all his weapons he surrendered. He just left alone into the forest. So within a moment, he is deprived of all the opulences and power and position and influence, whatever he had. In this world, we will also be deprived of all privileges and positions at the least expected moment. Be ready for it. How can we prepare ourselves for that moment? By maintaining a spirit of detachment. By genuinely understanding that I cannot hold on to my possessions beyond certain extent. Right? I cannot claim proprietorship. So you voluntarily detach yourself from a feeling of possessiveness. You may have so many possessions, but you can't be possessive of the possessions or positions. Possessions and positions will be taken away from us at the least expected moment. Be prepared. And we don't need anything material. The greatest possession that we can hold on to is our own love and devotion for Krishna. Everything else will be taken away from us, except our love, except our devotion, except whatever little affection we could manage to develop for Krishna by the inspiration of devotees. Only that will stay with us. Everything else is temporary. Right? So whatever sincere chanting we did, whatever holy names we chanted sincerely, that spiritual credits will remain with us. That will never be taken away by anyone. Krishna said in the Bhagavad Gita, Neha bhikramana sosti pratyavayo na vidyate svalpamapyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Even little bit of bhakti done with a sincere heart will protect us from the greatest calamity. But even the greatest treasure, whether it is gold or silver or diamonds or whatever, even the greatest treasure cannot protect you from even the smallest calamity when you are in need. You are walking in desert with 100 credit cards in your pocket. Right? With some $10 million in your bag, and you are desperate for water. You can't purchase water anywhere. No water. Will the money save you? It's very valuable. Credit cards will save you, debit cards will save you. Nothing can save you. Your position and power, nothing can save you. Only a drop of water can save you. Right? So sometimes we may be very, very opulent in one material resource, but lack of another material resource can kill our lives. Right? That's how life is. Somebody who is very wealthy, who has all money, they may not have good health. Right? They are telling the doctors, please save my life. I want to live for 10 more years. The doctor says, you can't live even for 10 more days also. Even if you give me $10 million. Right? So, just because we are sufficient, we have a sense of self-sufficiency in one material resource, that does not mean we will be self-sufficient in every way. But the real self-sufficiency a devotee can derive is by sincere Shravanam and Kirtanam, by chanting the holy names of the Lord and by hearing Harikatha and developing some sincere love and affection and devotion for Krishna. Only that will be with us. Nothing else will be with us. Right? Anyways, coming back to the story. Vidura saw this whole situation as an arrangement of the Lord. He felt grateful. I am so grateful to get this opportunity to go away from Hastinapur. Huh? You lost your minister post? Are you not feeling bad? You lost your power and position and influence and wealth and palace and residence also. In a moment you became a beggar. Are you not unhappy with it? No. I am very, very happy that I am relieved from this politics of Hastinapur. I am very tired and frustrated with this politics of Hastinapur. All the Vidura Niti, the moral teachings of Vidura, the Vidura Niti, is adored by and respected by and followed by so many people. Those people for whom it is originally meant to is never, they never took it seriously. Vidura Niti, all the good suggestions of Vidura are originally meant for Dhritarashtra, Duryodhan, they never took it seriously. Everyone else takes it seriously. So, Vidura felt, I am tired and bored and frustrated with this politics. Thank God, I am relieved from it. I mean, he was there, as long as he was there, he was very responsible. But when he was asked to leave, he just left. That is called detachment. Detachment is not irresponsibility. And responsibility is not attachment. He was very, very responsible in his post as a minister of Hastinapur. But he was never attached to that power or position or post or privileges. And he was detached, that does not mean he was irresponsible. So every time he is trying to correct Duryodhan, Dhritarashtra, Dushasana, all these people to the best of his ability. He was very responsible, but he was never attached. So what is the litmus test for detachment? When you are asked to leave, you can leave it effortlessly. You will not be affected so much. It's not that Vidura was crying, oh, I have been removed from this post. No pension is also arranged for me. Where will I go now? I will go to the court. I will find a lawyer. I will file a case against Dhritarashtra and Duryodhan. He is not thinking all that. Let me take shelter of Krishna. Let me go to the forest. Let me go to some pilgrimage places. Let me go to holy places and purify myself. So this is the background of Vidura. So Vidura is on his pilgrimage and Uddhava was on his way to Badarikashram. They both met at one place. Right? So far I spoke only first chapter. I have 32 chapters to cover. Now I will go a little fast. What to do? You have given big syllabus in short time. So, Vidura met Uddhava, and Vidura very innocently asked Uddhava, Uddhava, how are you doing? You must be coming from Dwarka. How is Krishna? How is Balaram? How is Ugrasena? You must be aware of the welfare of the Pandavas also. How are they doing? By the time Vidura met Uddhava in the forest, Kurukshetra battle has happened and Pandavas became the rulers. Dhritarashtra's 100 sons died, everything happened, and Vidura became aware of it to some degree. And then he met Uddhava finally during his pilgrimage. He is traveling to different holy places. Then Uddhava said, oh, you are asking about Krishna? You know a little bit about Pandavas, but you are asking mainly about Krishna. But please understand, Krishna is not there on this planet anymore. What happened? Krishna concluded his pastimes and he went to the spiritual world. The purpose for which Krishna has descended on this planet has been fulfilled. Why did Krishna descend on this planet? 3 purposes. Anyone knows? Paritranaya sadhunam vinashaya cha dushkritam dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. So he completed these 3 purposes. He protected devotees, he punished miscreants like Putana, Aghasur, Bakasur, Vatsasur, Vyomasur, so many people. And finally in the Kurukshetra battle, he empowered his devotees, the Pandavas, to kill all the miscreants. And he also gave his teachings in the form of Bhagavad Gita and Uddhava Gita. And he left this planet. Now Krishna's departure from this planet is not equal to his death. Because Krishna never dies. Nobody ever dies. There is no death for any small amsha of Krishna. What to speak of Krishna himself? No death. No birth. So Krishna's birth is like sunrise. And Krishna, when he concludes his pastimes, it is like sunset. Sunset means sun disappeared from one hemisphere and is simultaneously appearing in another hemisphere. It's not that sun is dying. Similarly, Krishna's disappearing means he concluded his pastimes in one universe and he is beginning the same pastimes in a different universe. So Krishna disappeared, and then Vidura went into an ecstatic remembrance of so many wonderful qualities of Krishna. Of all these qualities, let's discuss only one quality of Krishna. So, from the third canto, in the third canto, first chapter, Vidura asked Uddhava about Krishna. Then Uddhava started speaking about Krishna from the second chapter till the fourth chapter. So, in all these three chapters, I'll just discuss one shloka only. What is that? Aho abakiyam stanaka alakutam jighamsaya paya yadapya sadhvi lebhe gatim dhatruchitam tatonyam kamvadayalum sharanam rajeba. Krishna has given the position of a motherly nurse to a demoness, to a rakshasi who came to kill him. Who else can be more merciful than Krishna? So because she is acting like a mother, she dressed herself like a mother, seeing her attire and activity, Krishna has bestowed upon her a motherly position in the spiritual world, ignoring her attitude. We know Krishna is bhavagrahi Janardana, right? Krishna sees our emotions, our attitude, more than the magnitude of our offerings. We hear this, which is correct. But in Vrindavan, Krishna is extra merciful. So he ignored the attitude, the bhava of Putana, and gave her a very exalted position, just seeing her external activities and dressing style like a mother. As soon as this baby Krishna, 6 days old baby Krishna, saw Putana, he thought that, oh, Mother Rohini has come here. Mother Rohini is here. Oh, no, not Rohini, she is a demoness, dressed like a mother. But anyways, let me give her some mercy. So Krishna is more desperate to give his mercy upon all of us than we are desperate to receive it. You understand? He is more eager to shower his mercy and blessings upon us. We are not as eager as himself to receive that mercy. Out of all the wonderful qualities of Krishna, the greatest quality is his compassion, his mercy, his affection for his devotees. And of all the good qualities that we have, the best quality that we can ever have is to grab that mercy. Right? Receiving that mercy, reciprocating with Krishna's mercy and being eager and enthusiastic to receive that mercy is the best quality that we can ever have. That's the best potential that we can have. So this is how Lord Krishna bestowed mercy on Putana. In this way, Uddhava was remembering so many beautiful qualities of Krishna and pastimes of Krishna. In fact, he gave a quick summary of the 10th canto of Bhagavatam. Very simply, he gave a quick summary of 10th canto of Bhagavatam in just 3 chapters. Then hearing all these beautiful pastimes of Krishna from the mouth of Uddhava, Vidura became so respectful. Vidura said, Uddhava, you know so much about Krishna, and Krishna personally taught you so many teachings. Can you please give me those teachings? I accept you as my guru. You accept me as your disciple. Please tell me about Krishna more and more. Then Uddhava said, you wanted to hear something about Krishna and I spoke. That does not mean I become your guru. You are so elder to me. You are on the level of my father. If I become your guru, it's like, Maryada Vyatikram. It's a breach of etiquette. A younger person cannot assume the role of guru of an older person. Right? Of course, it's not always from the perspective of age. It's also from the perspective of knowledge. Some are Vayovruddha, some are Jnanavruddha. In that sense, in the 3rd canto itself, Kapilidev assumed the position of a guru of his own mother Devahuti. So, we need to understand the context. Here, Vidura's emotion is that He became so attracted by Uddhava's love for Krishna, and he wanted to learn something from Uddhava. But Uddhava felt uncomfortable to become the guru of Vidura, and he said, "You are on the level of my father. I think you better go to Maitreya Muni. And I have a service to do. What is that service? I need to go to Badarikashram and give Krishna's teachings to the sages of Badarikashram. Let me do that service. If you want to learn more and more about Krishna Tattva, you better go to another great devotee named Maitreya Muni and learn from him." And Vidura proceeded to Haridwar to meet Maitreya Muni, and Uddhava went to Badarikashram. Right? But what is the background of Maitreya Muni? We discussed about Vidura and Uddhava and their meeting that happened in the first 4 chapters of 3rd canto. Now we need to discuss about Maitreya Muni's background. At one point, Maitreya Muni was a Jnani. Jnani means he's like very scholarly kind of person. Being a scholar is not wrong. The point is that sometimes our scholarly tendencies will overshadow our devotion. Our jnana, our knowledge will overpower our bhakti. That's the problem. You can have knowledge, but that knowledge must be a subservient of devotion. Bhakti. So bhakti should be prominent, and knowledge should be devotional knowledge, not speculative knowledge or just simple analytical knowledge. Because Krishna is more impressed with our devotion than our intelligence. Right? So Maitreya Muni, at one point he was little like kind of a Jnani. But Maitreya Muni had a great opportunity to hear from Krishna. When? Let me go back to Uddhava for a minute. Uddhava was going to Badarikashram, right? But he could not proceed. He came back to a place called Prabhasa Kshetra, and at Prabhasa Kshetra, Krishna was sitting under a tree at that time. By the time all the Yadus departed from this world, Krishna was sitting alone. He was just about to leave this world, about to go back to the spiritual world. At that time, Vidura came again to meet Krishna. And Krishna asked, Uddhava, I told you to go to Badarikashram. What are you doing here? Why did you come here again? Then Uddhava said, I am missing you, Krishna. I am unable to proceed to Badarikashram. I am feeling separation from you. Don't worry. You should not feel like that. And Krishna again started speaking to Uddhava. Some more teachings. At that time, Maitreya Muni came there and heard all the things that Krishna spoke to Uddhava. That's how Maitreya Muni personally received teachings of Krishna, and he became transformed. Earlier he was little Jnani, but now he became nice devotee. Is it clear? Are you with me? Is the line of thought or flow of the events in the 3rd canto Bhagavatam clear? Right? I could have taken one topic and elaborated, but Prabhu said you just give the entire 3rd canto and yes, Mataji. This is a flashback. Right. Before Krishna departed, just before Krishna departed, Uddhava again had a small brief meeting with Krishna at Prabhasa Kshetra. That's the place where Maitreya Muni met him.
Krishna had instructed Uddhava to go to Badrikashram. So he was on the way to Badrikashram and he meets Vidura. So, when he leaves for
okay, situation, things are going back and forth.
Did Krishna
in Dwaraka, Krishna spoke Uddhava Gita to Uddhava and told Uddhava, you please go to Badarikashram. And Uddhava was going to Badarikashram, but he could not proceed. He again came back to meet Krishna at Prabhasa Kshetra. At Prabhasa Kshetra, Krishna again gave some teachings to Uddhava. At that time, Maitreya Muni came and heard the teachings. And after that, Maitreya Muni went to Haridwar and Uddhava proceeded to Badarikashram. Krishna went to the spiritual world. Now, when Uddhava is proceeding to Badarikashram in the second time, then Vidura came and met him. Okay, clear? So let's come back. So you got the background of Maitreya Muni? Now Vidura went to Maitreya Muni at Haridwar and offered his obeisances. Please enlighten me. You have been personally been enlightened by Lord Krishna. You please enlighten me. Give me teachings. Very elaborate teachings. Then Vidura said, I want to know, first I will ask some basic questions. What is that basic question? The question is, Sukhaya karvani karoti loko natai sukham vanyaduparamam va vindeta bhuyastata eva dukkham yatatra yuktam bhagavan vadennaha. Many people in this world endeavor so much for happiness, but they don't get happiness. What will they get? They get distress. But receiving this distress, will it stop them to further endeavor for happiness? No, they'll continue to endeavor for happiness, although they are not getting it, although they are getting opposite. This is a great surprise, great wonder. So, can you please instruct, can you please tell me, how can these people stop this unnecessary endeavor for material happiness and do something to get eternal spiritual happiness? That is his question, first question. By the way, this question by Vidura is way below the standard of his devotion. He could have directly asked about some intimate pastimes and qualities of Krishna, but instead he is just asking some basic questions. How to mitigate the sufferings of the people of conditioned souls. Because Vidura felt very humble. He is putting himself in the shoes of an average conditioned soul and asking some basic questions. Very important for us to understand. We cannot assume that we are so exalted. Sometimes when we are discussing very high topics, we may assume that we are on that level. And also sometimes, whether it is Arjuna asking Krishna in Bhagavad Gita or Vidura is asking Maitreya Muni in the Bhagavatam, they are asking some basic questions, not that they need answers for those questions, but we need answers to those questions. On our behalf, representing a conditioned soul, they are asking these questions. So basically Vidura asked this question, and he asked many other questions. How is the world created? I want to hear more and more of Krishna's pastimes, especially the creation pastimes. Let me begin from there. Then Maitreya Muni started narrating. Maitreya Muni said, this world is created in a very, very special way. Mahavishnu, who is also called Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, he lies in the causal ocean. When he breathes out, millions and millions of universes come out of his bodily pores. And this Mahavishnu expands himself as Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and he enters into each and every universe. And from the navel of this Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, who is lying on a snake bed within this universe, a universal lotus sprouts. And Lord Brahma takes birth on this lotus. And this Brahma creates all the further planets and species, different species of living entities within this universe. So what I spoke in the last 2-3 minutes is summary of 4-5 chapters. 3.5 all the way to 3.10. I gave summary of 5-6 chapters in 5-6 sentences. But let's go a little detail. So first, Brahma takes birth on this lotus. Then Brahma understands, and he doesn't understand, who am I, what am I doing, what is this around me. There is no one, only Brahma was there, nothing else was there in the entire creation. So he was bewildered. So he entered this lotus stem. He went all the way towards the navel of Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu. He did not find anything. He was thinking that I am wasting my time. So what did Brahma do? He came back on the top of lotus. Then he heard some words, tapa, tapa, tapa. Tapa means austerity, meditation. Then with the inspiration given by the Supreme Lord, he started meditating. Sincere meditation. He was praying to the Lord for 100 years. Brahma lives for 100 years. How can he pray for 100 years? In the beginning of his life. These are 100 human years. Not 100 years according to the calculation of Brahma. 100 years according to our calculation. That is, in one eye blink of Brahma, we pass through 5-6 lifetimes. So his lifespan is so big. So Brahma meditated for 100 years means it's not according to his calculation, it's about according to our calculation. That's very small time, actually speaking. So he meditated like that. Then Lord Garbhodaka Vishnu came in front of him. And Brahma saw, wow, such a wonderful form of the Lord. And he started sincere prayers, offering prayers. Very beautiful prayers. One prayer, let me just speak. From the 3rd canto, 5th chapter. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja ase srutekshita patho nanunatha pumsam yadyadhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattattva pranayase sadanugrahaya. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsaroja means when your heart is filled with bhakti, devotion unto the Lord, hritsaroja ase, the Lord will sit on the lotus of your heart. Srutekshita patho nanunatha pumsam. Whenever you meditate on the Lord with devotion, and the devotion is inspired by hearing Krishna Katha from pure devotees, then from the sound vibration emanating from the mouths of pure devotees, the Lord will enter into your ear holes. And through the ears, He will go to the heart. Ear is like a door. Heart is home. If you want to invite the Lord into your home, how many of you want to invite the Lord into your homes, into the heart of your homes? Then you should open your ears. So all of us have 2 doors to our home of heart. The heart, and we have 2 doors, either from this side or this side, or both sides, whatever. So the Lord, we should allow the Lord to enter our ear holes. So the Lord comes and sits there. So when you hear Krishna Katha, knowingly or unknowingly, you are inviting Krishna through the doors of your ears into the home of your heart. But in the home, if you also allow Mr. Lust, Mr. Envy, Mr. Pride, Mr. Greed to sit, Krishna will feel very uncomfortable. So you have only one seat, right? Only one seat you have, right? In your home. One guest comes and you ask him to sit there. Then second guest comes, you say, same seat. Then this way has to come like this, okay. 2 people are sitting here. The third guest comes and you give the same seat because you only have one seat in your home, right? So the 3 people have to sit like this, squeeze. So 2 people, 1 person here, 1 person here. Then 4th person comes, okay, sit here. 5th person, sit here. Then more and more people are coming, you are giving the same seat. What will the first person do? He will get up and go, right? Similarly, we only have one heart, only one seat. That is meant for whom? Krishna. If along with Krishna, if you allow Mr. Lust also to sit there, Krishna will feel uncomfortable. I am Krishna. What is Kama doing here? Kama should go out if Krishna has to be there. You want Kama or Krishna? So we have to throw Kama away. Then Krodha comes. Right? Krodha also sits there. One side Krodha, one side Kama. Krishna will feel uncomfortable. I can't live in such a filthy place. So holding all the anarthas in our hearts basically means keeping our home very unclean. If our home is unclean, we ourselves feel very disgusted with that home. So let the home be very clean. So when there is a clean home, then Krishna will be happy to sit there. We can happily sit there and then offer service to Krishna. So we should clean our homes physically, but we should also clean our homes spiritually, internally. There are 2 types of cleanliness. One cleanliness is the external cleanliness of the body and of the home. You broom the home, mop the home, bathe yourself. That is external cleanliness. But internal cleanliness is you clean the heart from envy, lust, pride, greed, anger, arrogance. Just remove these qualities, then the heart is clean. In such a clean heart, the Lord will sit. And the way of inviting the Lord to sit there is hearing Krishna Katha. That's what Brahma is saying in his prayer. And how does the Lord reciprocate with his devotees? In which form the Lord will enter your heart? Can anyone guess? As Krishna, as Ram, as Varaha, as Vamana, as Matsya, as Kurma, as Narasimhadev, or as Parshuram? In which form does the Lord come? Huh? Shamsundar. Someone is saying Shamsundar. Huh? The form in which we worship the Lord. Yadyadhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattatvapuhu pranayase sadanugrahaya. The way we meditate on the Lord, whichever form we worship the Lord, whether it is Gaurnitai or Radha Shyam Sundar or Jagannath Baldev Subhadra or Ramachandra, or whichever form we meditate on, according to the descriptions of scriptures, the Lord will manifest in that specific form and reciprocates with us in that form only. Understand? So this is very important. The Lord is very personal. If you worship Ram, the Lord will reciprocate with you as Ramachandra. If you worship Krishna, the Lord will reciprocate with you as Krishna. And Krishna also, some people like Vrindavan Krishna, some people like Dwarka Krishna, some people like Mathura Krishna. What is the difference? All are same. Yes, ultimately all are same. But in Vrindavan, Krishna's form is characterized by simplicity, innocence and sweetness. But in Dwaraka, Krishna's form is characterized by majesty, grandeur, opulence. In Vrindavan, Krishna is surrounded by gopas, gopis, cows, calves, butterflies, parrots, peacocks, monkeys. But in Dwaraka, Krishna is surrounded by kings, princes, soldiers, ministers, horses, elephants. In Vrindavan, Krishna wears a simple turban and puts a peacock feather. In Dwarka, Krishna wears a big crown and he looks very majestic. In Vrindavan, Krishna will sit on these simple stones of Shilas of Govardhan mountain, or on grass, or on the bank of Yamuna river. But in Dwarka, Krishna sits in Sudharma assembly hall in a great simhasan, great throne. Whichever form you like, you please worship Krishna. You like opulent form? Yes, worship Dwarkadhish. You like simple form? Worship Vrajendra Krishna. So the Lord is kind enough to reciprocate with us in any form. You decide which form is more dear to your heart. Somebody likes the Lord as Ramachandra. Very sober, very gentle. Maryada Purushottam. Right? Krishna is more playful. Lord Ramachandra is very sober and grave. So the Lord can manifest in multiple forms and he will reciprocate according to the taste and the mood and preference of his devotees. You worship Lord Ram, you worship Lord Krishna, you worship Vrindavan Krishna, you worship Mathura Krishna, Dwarka Krishna. Krishna is happy to reciprocate, and that's what Brahma is saying. Yadyadhiyata urugaya vibhavayanti tattatvapuhu pranayase sadanugrahaya. In those forms only Krishna will reciprocate, whichever form you meditate, whichever form you worship, whichever form is dear to you. Clear? So Brahma offered these prayers. And then the Lord appeared in front of Brahma and said, I'm very, very happy with your prayers. I'm very impressed with your prayers, Brahma. So now your service is create this universe, right? So the Lord showers his affectionate glances on all of us. Very, very loving glances. So Brahma developed an inspiration to serve the Lord. What is his service? Creating the universe. Some of you may be doing the service of worshipping the deities in the temple. Some of you may be doing the service of distributing books. Different devotees do different services, right? And the inspiration to do that service comes from Krishna. The empowerment to do that service comes from Krishna. And if we pray, all the distractions that may create some obstacles in our service also will be vanquished by Krishna. So whenever you go in front of the deities and look at the beautiful forms of Radha Krishna, then Jagannath, Baldev, Subhadra, Gaurnitai, whenever you look at that beautiful form of Krishna while taking darshan of the Lord's affectionate glances will fall on you. You may think that you are seeing Krishna, but something else is happening there. Krishna is seeing you. Your glances are falling on Krishna, definitely, but Krishna's glances are falling on us. Our glance is not that mature, not that comprehensive. Yeah, there may be some innocence, there is some simplicity, there is some little devotion in our glance, but it's limited. Physically or emotionally, it has some limitations. Sometimes we may not be able to see the darshan clearly. Let's put some glasses and then see, now it's clear. Right? Our glances are sometimes imperfect. And as far as love is concerned, sometimes when you are seeing the Lord, mind will go somewhere else. How many of you have experienced that when you are taking darshan of the Lord, mind goes here and there? You are in front of the Lord on a festival day. Right? Kirtan is going on in the background, Katha is going on in the background, and you are seeing the beautiful form of the Lord. And suddenly within a minute, the mind is going somewhere else. You are thinking about what's happening in the home, what happened in the office, or some conflict that happened with your friend. Then in a minute you will recognize, hey, I'm in front of the deities. Oh Lord. You start offering prayers. It happens. But Krishna's glances are not distracted glances. Our glances may be distracted. Our mind may be distracted. Our emotions may be inconsistent. But Krishna is consistent in showering His love and affection upon us. His glances are focused. He is looking at you only. And He is looking at him also. He is looking at her also. How can He look at all of us simultaneously? Yes, He can look at every single devotee in this big temple hall with 200-300 whatever number of devotees are sitting here. He can look at every single one of you with full concentration, without any distraction, simultaneously. That is Krishna. He can offer Himself completely to you, and He can offer Himself completely to him also. What he gets from Krishna is complete, what you get from Krishna is also complete, because Krishna is complete. All his expansions are complete. So, much more than we can accept also. More than we can handle also. So, whenever you go in front of the deities and Krishna is glancing on you, you know what will the glance do to you? What is the effect of Krishna's glance upon all of us? Let's see. First, Krishna's glances will create spiritual desires in our hearts. Second, Krishna's glances will maintain those spiritual desires. Third, Krishna's glances will fulfill those spiritual desires. You don't have spiritual desires, you only have material desires. Go to Krishna. Allow Krishna to see you for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, whatever time you can allow. He is ready to see you whole day. But are we ready to see Him whole day? That's a question. Right? Time there. Krishna, harekrishna. I'm just going. So 1 minute, 2 minutes. He is ready to look at us whole day. So while looking at us, Krishna will create some spiritual desires. If you don't want spiritual desires, don't see Krishna. If you want to maintain your material desires, don't look at Krishna. I'm not saying this. Rupa Goswami said this. Right? So if you want to continue your material life and material desires, don't look at this beautiful form of Govinda, Shyam Sundar on the bank of Keshi Ghat playing his flute. So when you come in front of Krishna and allow Krishna to see you, those glances of Krishna that are falling upon you will create spiritual desires. Means they will destroy material desires also. So creation of material desires happens by Krishna's glance. Sometimes we may have spiritual desire. For example, you want to chant 20 rounds in a day. 16. I have been chanting 16 rounds in 16 years. Let me increase. I will chant 20 rounds from today. I will chant 25 rounds from today. Or at least I will chant 25 rounds on Ekadashi day. Or on Janmashtami day or Radhashtami day, all festival days. And the appearance and disappearance days of Acharyas, let me chant some 4-5 extra rounds. So you may have some spiritual desire. Did you desire sometimes? You don't have to express it. Think within your heart. Sometimes a devotee may have some nice spiritual desire. But how many of you have experienced that the spiritual desire that appeared in your mind or heart did not stay with you for a longer time? Whichever spiritual desire you had in your mind, could you maintain it forever? Sometimes we get distracted, although we feel like chanting some extra rounds. You do it for 1 or 2 days or 1 week or 10 days. Then, oh, it's okay. I took vow only for 16. The secondary thing. We don't have to do extra service. Whatever is assigned to us, that only we should do. That is, we have to follow the instructions. I should not concoct my own way of devotional service. Who said that we have to chant extra rounds? 16 is a vow. Right? We forget the word minimum. Minimum 16. We say, oh, I'll chant 16 rounds during initiation. Oh, minimum 16 rounds. Oh, that minimum is The effect of minimum is minimized. We don't take the word minimum so seriously. So anyways, you may want to chant some extra rounds and you go in front of the Lord. That desire is created in us. But to maintain that desire, we have to see the Lord. The Lord's affectionate glances will help us maintain that spiritual desire. Sometimes we have a spiritual desire, but we may not be able to maintain it. And we'll be able to fulfill that spiritual desire also by seeing the Lord. So don't underestimate the effect of Krishna's darshan. Now coming back to Brahma's situation in the 3rd canto of Bhagavatam, Lord Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu is glancing on Brahma, and that created spiritual desires in Brahma. So Brahma wanted to create this universe. And the desire also is inspired by the Lord only. How did Brahma know that his service is creation? Why not maintenance? Oh Lord, you create all the species, I will maintain them. This is my desire. No, your Brahma's job is to create, not maintain. Maintenance job is Vishnu's. Destruction job is Lord Shiva's. So Brahma has to create. So how did he develop that inspiration to create? By the Lord's glance. Next, how will he be able to execute that service? By Krishna's glance. We receive service by Krishna's mercy. We will be able to execute that service by Krishna's mercy. And we will have to transfer that service to someone else by Krishna's mercy. Right? We need to pass on that service to the next generation, right? You can't hold on to one service for a long time. The only service that we can hold on to whole life is 2 things. B and B. Bead bag and Bhagavatam. Right? Holy name. Nobody will take away your bead bag. Nobody will take away your Bhagavatam. Other services you will do sometime, sometimes you may not do. Someone else will come and do. You will do that service for 10 years, and okay, another devotee is doing that service, same service in a much more effective manner. Let the new generation take over. What will you do? You take up another service that suits you, suits your experience and suits your skills. If no service is there, bead bag is there, Bhagavatam is there, right? So at this moment, Brahma's service is to create. And the Lord said, my dear Brahma, whatever you have been praying for has already been bestowed upon you. You offered prayers to me, that is inspired by me. You heard the word tapa tapa, I spoke those words. It is only by the Lord's inspiration that we pray to Him. It is only by the Lord's empowerment that we get the ability to pray to Him and pray for service and execute that service. All this happens by the Lord's mercy. So Brahma offered these prayers and the Lord empowered him. Then Brahma started this creation. So it's a very long story. So Brahma created different operating systems. First he has to install operating systems in this universe. That is the 5 features of ignorance. Sasarjangren dhatamishram athatamishramadhikrit mahamoham cha moham cha tamaschajnanavrittayah. So I don't want to make the class too technical by speaking this, but initially Brahma created 5 features of ignorance. Later Brahma created 4 Kumaras, right, with the power of jnana, knowledge. Later Brahma created sages. Then ultimately Brahma created a couple named Swayambhava Manu and Shatarupa. The Swayambhava Manu is the first created human being in this universe. He is the original Manushya. So that Swayambhava Manu was told by Brahma, my dear Brahma, you please, Brahma told Swayambhava Manu, my dear Manu, you please go to the earth planet and increase the population of this universe. Then Manu said, yes, I'll go to earth planet, but where is earth planet? Earth planet at that time is drowning in this Garbhodaka ocean. And Brahma thought, my God, I created these people and then they don't have a place to work only. So Brahma meditated. And from his nostril, a small form appeared. Generally what comes out of nostril is not very clean, especially when you have cold, right? So what comes out of nostril is not that appreciated or remembered or valued, right? But the Lord can manifest from any source. So from Brahma's nostril, a small form appeared, and that became like a huge elephant, that became so huge that it occupied a major portion of the universe, that is Varaha Dev. So he is called Shveta Varaha, also called Adi Varaha, who appeared in the Swayambhuva Manvantara. What did he do? With his tusks, he started exploring this Garbhodaka ocean. Have you seen hogs with their elongated mouths? They start exploring the fill the canals, etc. So imitating the features of a hog, the Lord also dived deep into this ocean, Garbhodaka ocean, and lifted planet Earth from the depths of this Garbhodaka ocean. So he is called Adi Varaha or Shveta Varaha, who appeared in the Swayambhuva Manvantara. However, while discussing this story, Maitreya Muni added another story. Because some of these incarnations of the Lord appear multiple times, not only once. So Varahadeva appeared once again in Chakshusha Manvantara as Shveta Varaha or Nila Varaha. There are two Varahas, right? One in Swayambhu Manvantara, second in Chakshusha Manvantara. In Swayambhu Manvantara, Varahadeva is called Shveta Varaha or Adi Varaha. In the Adi means first incarnation. In the Chakshusha Manvantara, he is called Nila Varaha or Rakta Varaha. I think I gave two names for each. Let's keep it one only. Shveta Varaha and Nila Varaha. Right? Nila, because he is a little bluish. He is also a little reddish, therefore he is also called Rakta Varaha. So the Lord appeared second time in the Chakshusha Manvantara. That's why Bhagavatam is not chronological. So Varahadev appeared once, but the second appearance of Varahadev is combined with this. And two Varahadev incarnations are spoken in one go. So that's little, sometimes when we are reading Bhagavatam, we may get little lost in figuring out the chronology, the sequence of events, why these two Varahas are there. Sometimes readers may think that this Varaha who lifted the earth also killed Hiranyaksha. No. Varaha lifted earth, that is, Shveta Varaha lifted the earth only. But there is a second Varaha, that is Nila Varaha, who appeared in Chakshusha Manvantara. He fought with Hiranyaksha and killed him. And that is spoken. Hiranyaksha. Hiranyaksha was a great demon, and Varahadev, the second Varahadev, killed Hiranyaksha. Then Vidura asked this question, who is that Hiranyaksha suddenly came in the picture? I want to know, who is this Hiranyaksha, how did he take birth, and why did the Lord kill him, what is the reason for their fight? Then Maitreya Muni started discussing the story of Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. How did it all begin? Once, Diti, Mother Diti, we should go till 9:30, right, Prabhu? 9:30. So, Lord, once Diti went to her husband Kashyapa Muni. Kashyapa Muni is a great Prajapati, and Diti is one of his wives, and he had so many wives, and these wives became mothers of so many children. But this Diti did not have children yet. She became very envious of her co-wives. Many of them are her sisters only. She became envious. She became lusty. She went to Kashyapa Muni at Sandhya time. Then she was pressurizing him. I want children. You should impregnate me right now. Then he said, it's not the right time, wait for some time. But she is very obsessed. She is saying, no, you have to do it now only. But he is slowly trying to control her, pacify her, solace, like please don't, let's wait for some time. This is not the appropriate time. Lord Shiva wanders with his ghosts and hobgoblins at this time. Whenever somebody is doing this kind of activity, Shiva becomes upset, and he will allow some ghosts or some demoniac people to take birth through that union. It's not the right time. He was trying to mildly pacify her, but she was very insistent. She even took his cloth and then pulled him. Then Kashyapa Muni gave in. Yeah, definitely what Diti did is a mistake, but there's a little mistake on the part of Kashyapa Muni also, because he gave in. He was only trying to control her and pacify her with mild words. He is not being very firm in his stance. He is not very strong in trying to control her or stop her. So he also gave in. And as a result, Diti became pregnant. And after this whole thing was over, Diti came to Kashyap Muni and said, I'm sorry. She was very, very embarrassed and very repentant. She was feeling guilty. Then Kashyap Muni said, because of your mistake, which is very offensive to the great devatas, you will give birth to two sons who are very demoniac in nature. The Lord will kill them. Then she felt very, very unhappy. Oh, because of my mistake. Because parents' mistakes will affect the lives of children. The mistakes done by parents or the consciousness that the parents have at the time of conceiving the children will definitely influence the life of children. Or in other words, when the consciousness of parents is not appropriate at the time of conceiving the child, they will attract a person of poor consciousness into their family. It is their consciousness that invites a living entity to enter a family. So there is a great devotee named Priyavrata Maharaj. But at the time of conception, he became very lusty. Then he attracted a personality named Agnidhra into his family. Because he was lusty, so Agnidhra came, and then he did not become a nice devotee. Agnidhra, instead of becoming a devotee, a pure devotee of Krishna, he became Pitraloka Kama. He wanted to go to some higher planets of ancestors and all. So anyways, Diti was very inappropriate in her consciousness, and Kashyap Muni said, you will give birth to demoniac sons. Then she became very, very repentant. Then Kashyap Muni said, because you are very repentant, your grandson will be a great devotee. See, sometimes somebody does a mistake. If the person rectifies the mistake instead of justifying the mistake is forgiven, or at least the punishment or the reaction is kind of minimized. But if the mistake is justified and not rectified, and if there is no repentance, there is no honest repentance and an attempt to overcome that mistake, then they will have to suffer the consequences of mistake. So because of the mistake done by Diti, she would be giving birth to two demoniac sons named Hiranyaksha and Hiranyakashipu. And because of her genuine repentance, she will become the grandmother of a great devotee named Prahlad Maharaj. Okay. Anyways, when Diti was pregnant, she did not want to give birth. She held on to her pregnancy for 1000 years. Don't ask me how. I don't know. How can a mother hold on to her pregnancy and not give birth to children? Is it in her control? Yeah, it was in her control. They were very, very elevated personalities, but I don't know the technique. No doctor can give you the technique also probably in 2025 in Kali Yuga, in this current Manvantara, in this Kali Yuga. So she held on to her pregnancy. Why? Two reasons. One, she wanted to postpone the birth of her sons and thus the death of her sons. Even if I give birth, suddenly the Lord Vishnu will come and kill these sons, and let me not do it. Let me just hold on to my pregnancy. Let them be there within my heart. This is mother's love. Right? So then there is a second reason. Because these sons will be demoniac and they will trouble the entire universe, torment the entire universe, Mother Diti wanted to postpone their suffering. It's a selfless reason. There is a selfish reason, there is a selfless reason. So when she was holding on to her pregnancy, the effect of that pregnancy created so much darkness, dense darkness in the world and in the universe, and all the devatas went to Lord Brahma and said, Brahma, what's happening here? Why are we experiencing this darkness? Then Brahma told a story. Very nice story. Brahma said, oh, devatas, let me tell you a nice story now. You came with a problem. When you hear katha, all problems will be forgotten. hear Krishna Katha. You may not be able to solve a problem. You may not get solution to your material problem by hearing Krishna Katha, but you will rise above that problem. You will develop that tolerance and endurance and strength to survive through that problem by hearing Krishna Katha. It is because of my karma that I have to undergo this struggle. Let me undergo this. Let me be purified of this. I may not be able to solve this problem. But many people want solutions for their problems by coming to the Lord. But we need strength to deal with the problems by coming to the Lord. So all these devatas came to Brahma, and Brahma did not give them any solution, but he spoke some katha. Very nice katha. He said, once my 4 sons, the Kumaras, went to the Vaikuntha to see the Lord. They passed through 6 gates. They came to the 7th gate. And in this context, Brahma is describing the beauty of Vaikuntha. Brahma said, Vaimanika salalanas-charitani shashvad gayanti yatra shamalakshabanani bhartuhu antarjalenu vikasan madhumadhavinam gandhena khandita dhayopyanilam kshipantah. In Vaikuntha, there are very nice airplanes. Not Indigo or Jet Airways or Spice Jet or Kingfisher or Delta Airlines, some international, or Air India. No. They are spiritual airplanes. What is the difference between these airplanes and those airplanes? They are private airplanes. They are not made of aluminum or other metals, plastic. They are made of gold. They are bedecked with jewels. There is no pilot. There is no need to fasten your seat belts. There is no need to be squeezed in a small space. Right? There is no need to pay some extra money for extra leg room. Right, in these flights. These airplanes move by the will of the person who is in the airplane. No need of driver. If the Vaikunthavasi, the Vishnu Parshada or the Vishnu Duta sitting in the airplane desires to go in the left direction or the right direction or above or top, as soon as the desire appears in the mind, airplane will go like that. That's how the airplane is designed. They are spiritual airplanes, not material airplanes. And all these Vaikuntha men are associated with their consorts, their wives, and together as a couple, they are traveling in a private airplane in the very beautiful serene ambience of Vaikuntha. When some very nice soothing atmosphere is available and very intimate private association of opposite gender is available, what will a typical conditioned soul do? Sense gratification. Some kind of romantic desires will enter their minds and they want to do some sense enjoyment. But what the Vaikuntha-vasis do? Gayanti yatra shamalakshapanani bhartuhu. They chant the glories of Lord Hari. They are completely absorbed in Krishna. Yat sankulam haripada natimatra drishtair vaidhurya marakata hemamayair vimanaihi yesham brihat kaditata smita shobhimukhya krishnatmanam naraja adadhurutsmayadhyaihi. Because they are totally absorbed in Krishna, that serene, that beautiful ambience of Vaikuntha and that solitude or seclusion and facility and association with the opposite gender will not induce any material desires in their minds, because they are Krishnatmanam, they are completely Krishna conscious. They just want to serve the Lord and chant. Whenever a devotee sees a very nice ambience, they want to chant Hare Krishna. They want to have some katha there. Oh, it's a nice place, very peaceful place. Let's come and sit here and then discuss Hari Katha. But materialistic people, when they see, oh, it's a nice place, let's go and do some sense gratification there. Some drunkards will say, oh, this is a nice place. Come, open your bottles. Open your sodas. Get your, cups. Right? Let's have some party here. Those are attached to gambling. Oh, it's a nice place. Come. Spread a cloth and then just have the cards. Right? They play with the cards. When small children go there, nice place. Get your ball and bat. Let's play cricket here. right? So we were doing Govardhan Parikrama there, we saw some kids playing cricket there, right? So near Surabhi Kund. So sometimes, depending on one's preferences and consciousness, we feel like doing the best pleasurable activity as soon as we see some nice ambience. But Vaikuntha Vasis, they just glorify Krishna. In fact, the most pleasurable activity is to sit together like this and hear Krishna Katha. Now, in the greatest pleasure abode of Vaikuntha, what is the highest pleasure being derived by the Vaikuntha Vasis? Hearing Krishna Katha, discussing Krishna Katha. Because that gives the ultimate pleasure to the soul. No amount of money or power or prestige or sense enjoyment can actually satisfy the heart. Only genuine description of Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila will satisfy the heart. Try to derive enjoyment in this, whether you like it or not, whether you are able to relish it or not. Try to sit and chant the holy names of Krishna and hear Krishna Katha, because that gives the ultimate enjoyment. Just like someone who has jaundice may not be able to taste sugar cane juice, it may be a little bitter. Similarly, a conditioned soul may not be able to taste this pleasure of pure Krishna Katha, but when the consciousness becomes very refined and spiritualized, naturally we will be able to taste Krishna's Nama, Rupa, Guna, Lila. We are doing practice now. Let me practice. This is the consciousness of all the Vaikuntha Vasis, men and women in Vaikuntha. What about animals in Vaikuntha? What about birds in Vaikuntha? What about plants in Vaikuntha? In Vaikuntha there are so many beautiful plants. Mandara kunda kurabotpala champakarna punnaga naga bakulambuja parijata gandherchite tulasika bharanena tasya yasmimstapaha sumanaso bahumanayanti. There are so many beautiful flowers in Vaikuntha, different colors. So now this Jarbara has certain shape and certain color. This is called Gulchadi. So this has a different shape. Rose has a different shape. This Shavanti has a different shape. This Bijli, this has a different shape and color and size and number of petals. So they have different kinds of fragrances. So although all these beautiful Vaikuntha flowers and plants have different sizes and shapes and fragrances and colors and numbers of petals, all these Vaikuntha flowers will take a low profile to encourage Tulsi Maharani. Gandherchite tulasika bharane natasya yasmimstapaha sumanaso bahumanayanti. So Gandherchite, all the flowers do archana of Krishna with their gandha. You offer whatever you have to Krishna, and what does the flower have to offer to Krishna? Its own fragrance. So flower worships Krishna by offering its fragrance to Krishna, and that's how they are doing their archana. But suddenly Tulsi Maharani comes. Because Tulsi Maharani is so dear to the Lord, all these flowers will take a low profile and say, Tulsi, you please move forward and then worship. If rose is not there in your garland, still you can offer a garland to the Lord with other flowers. If Jarbara is not there, fine. If Gulchadi is not there, fine. Mogra is not there, fine. But if Tulsi is not there, not fine. Tulsi makes your offering complete. And all the flowers know this. All these flowers are not envying Tulsi. Tulsi, you look like a simple green leaf. But I look so bright yellow. I look so bright red. I look pink. I have different colors, different sizes and different shapes. But you don't look so grand apparently like me. Why should I give you extra preference? Why should I take low profile? No flower in Vaikuntha says like this. There is no envy in Vaikuntha. Even amongst flowers, there is no envy in Vaikuntha. Prabhupada writes in that purport, 3rd canto, 15th chapter purports, that these flowers in Vaikuntha, they are so non-envious that they encourage Tulsi Maharani by taking a low profile, because Tulsi Maharani presents a special spiritual fragrance, especially in the Brahma Muhurta early in the morning, that only spiritually elevated personalities can perceive. Early in the morning, Tulsi emanates such divine fragrance that only spiritually elevated personalities can actually relish it. Anyways, that is the nature of the flowers of Vaikuntha. What about birds? Paravatanya bhritasara sachakravaka datyuha hamsa shukatitiribarhinam yaha kolahalo viramate chiramatra muchair bhrangadhipe harikatham ivagaya mane paravata anya bhrita sarasa chakravaka datyuha hamsa shuka titiri. All these are the names of different birds. They have sweet singing voices. They have beautiful forms and very, very colorful feathers. Peacock, such beautiful feathers like rainbow. And parrot, such beautiful bright green body. Looks so sweet, red beak. And they can make nice sounds. Koyal, cuckoo bird, they can sing so nicely. But all these sweet singing, beautiful, colorful birds will take a low profile to encourage a small bee. A small bee comes and makes a sound. Zzz. We get irritated by that sound sometimes. But because this bee is trying to encourage, this bee is trying to glorify Krishna, other birds are trying to encourage the bee. In Vaikuntha, even if a devotee is doing some very small service, they only get encouragement and blessings. They are not discouraged by other Vaikuntha Vasis who are more talented than him. Similarly, if you want to create an ambience of Vaikuntha in this material world, let's give up envy. Let's embrace the quality of encouragement. Let's encourage other devotees. Let's support other devotees. Let's not discourage them. Let's not demean them. Let's appreciate them, even if they contribute a little service only. So Vaikuntha ambience is an ambience of appreciation and gratitude. Every devotee is serving to the best of one's ability, and they should be allowed to do so. Instead of unnecessarily getting into superiority complex or inferiority complex or envy or pride, let's allow each other to serve to the best of their ability. Let's encourage them. Let's support them. Let's appreciate them genuinely, not like a strategy. Sometimes appreciation comes as a part of strategy. If I appreciate, he will do my work in future. That's the motivated kind of appreciation, but there is a genuine appreciation for their devotion. So not just for their capacity, but for their attitude. This is the mood of Vaikuntha. And there are many other features of Vaikuntha. Lakshmi Devi brooms and mops the floors of Vaikuntha, although they are clean, to get a trace of the Lord's glance. So in this way, Brahma described the Vaikuntha ambience. And the four Kumaras, Brahma's sons, entered that Vaikuntha. They passed through 6 gates. They came to the 7th gate, and they were stopped by the doorkeepers named Jaya and Vijaya. Why did they stop? What happened later? We will see in the evening. Suspense for you. Right? So out of 33 chapters, we covered 15 chapters. So remaining chapters we will cover in the evening. Half of 3rd canto is done. Not even exactly half, but something closer to half. So thank you very much for your kind attention. Granthara Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai. This is for you. Any questions or comments? Any questions? Yes, Mataji. 1, 2, 3.
Harekrishna Prabhuji, Pranam. Prabhuji, there I heard 2 things about Putna. He get the dasi. He become the dasi of Yashoda Mata in Vaikuntha. And same time I heard that he get mukti and he get to the Jyoti, Brahma Jyoti, where when he get mukt.
Who?
He
means
Putna.
Putana. Yes. No, Putana got the position of a motherly nurse, a maid servant of Mother Yashoda in the spiritual world. I didn't hear that she got Brahman liberation. ultimately all the spiritual planets are there in the Brahma Jyoti. In that sense, yeah, she entered that realm. But she got the position of a motherly nurse in the spiritual world. Prabhupada writes very clearly in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, 6th chapter. Okay.
Thank you, Puji.
Any other question?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Pranam. That you were discussing about detachment, and the best example was the Vidur. But when Vidur meet with Krishna, he says that I was missing you. So it shows like he is attached to Krishna. My question is like detachment is necessary in every situation or in some situation?
We should be detached from material things, but not Krishna. The essence of detachment from material things is attachment to Krishna. Attachment to spiritual things and detachment from material things. So we should be extremely attached to Krishna. And that asakti, that attraction towards Krishna is the essence of bhakti, and that's how we progress in bhakti. So we should be attached to Krishna, but detached from material possessions and positions. But as long as we are there in that situation, we need to be responsible. Is that your question? Does it answer your question? What exactly is the question?
Ji Prabhuji, Hare Krishna.
Okay.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you for wonderful lecture. Actually, one of my friend, he's a very sincere Krishna conscious practitioner. Actually, a few days ago, one of his family member, like very close family member, got brain stroke, and he know that he should feel worried, but he is actually not feeling worried. And he was asking me that what should I do? Could you please suggest me? Like I really wanted to help him. Am I able to explain?
Means help him in the sense that
like
they should feel worried.
He know that he should worried, but he is not that feeling of worried. Like
no, not getting worried when there is some kind of material calamity or reversal or difficulty can be due to two reasons. One is they don't have such emotional bonding with the other person that even if they undergo some kind of calamity, it doesn't affect them because there's not much connection. That could be a reason. Another possible reason is they are very composed and calm and grave. Somehow they developed that kind of inner composure that they are not worried. It could be because of insensitivity or maturity, spiritual maturity. Because when a devotee believes that, okay, even if this beloved personality departs or undergoes some difficulty, Krishna is there for them. So because of one's confidence on Krishna, one may feel little calm and composed, although the situation is supposed to be filled with anxiety and panic, right? So they may have that self-composure out of spiritual maturity, or it could be insensitivity, or it could be because of lack of sufficient emotional connection. So I can't exactly say what could be the reason, but these are some possible reasons. But let's speak the point, the philosophical angle of it, or the devotional angle of it. There's nothing wrong in worrying for a beloved one, even if you're practicing bhakti. In fact, we should. Yeah, they need to introspect. Why are they not having that concern? Is it because of lack of sufficient bonding with them, or lack of gratitude, or because of being insensitive? That they need to figure out. They need to introspect. Maybe someone who is very close to them can help them figure it out. But the concept is that just because we become devotees or we know philosophy, we develop so much knowledge, that does not mean we give up emotions. Philosophy is not meant to kill our emotions. Philosophy is meant to regulate our emotions and direct our emotions, channelize them properly. So philosophy is not meant to destroy our emotions or make us hard-hearted or stone-hearted. But philosophy is meant to ensure that we don't become dysfunctional by being overly emotional. When we are too emotional, we become dysfunctional. When somebody fails in an exam or a beloved one departs, they become totally dysfunctional. They can't do anything for for a long time. They may become totally affected by it and they can't function properly. But there is a duty that is assigned to us. So this person has completed his duties in the tenure of this body and he departed, but now I need to focus on my duty. For example, when Abhimanyu died, Arjuna did not give up the battle. He continued the battle, but he's very affected, extremely affected. Arjuna was devastated by the death of Abhimanyu. The emotions were there, but those emotions did not stop him from doing his duty of participating in the war. And after Krishna departed again, Arjuna was devastated, but he focused on his duty. Okay, what am I supposed to do now? I need to enthrone Parikshit Maharaj as the king of Hastinapur and I should continue my spiritual journey. So emotions are there, emotion must be there, but the philosophy is meant to regulate the emotions so that we don't become dysfunctional. Our service should not stop. Our responsibilities should not stop.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. My question is from Varakatha. In Varakatha, the earth is soaked when the earth is soaked. But as my little knowledge, I know that when during the night of Brahma, the planets get drowned in water, and during the end of Brahma, the planets got drowned in water. But why then the planets were in the water?
Okay. Sometimes there is a circumstantial imbalance. So, earth was drowning in the Garbhodaka ocean so that Varahadeva can manifest and reposition it. Although it is in the maintenance phase, not the destruction phase, still some imbalance can come and only the Lord can rectify that imbalance when even Brahma cannot do it. So, it's an opportunity for us to realize the glory of the Lord and how important it is to depend on the Lord. But beyond this, I don't know a reason why exactly earth fell into the earth. Earth fell into Garbhodaka ocean at that time. Is that what you are asking? Okay. Any other questions?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Thank you so much.
So many questions.
Thank you so much for such a sweet and nectarine class. We were just praying that it should continue. Actually in this class you mentioned, that we have two things. Other services can be taken away, like beadbag and Bhagavatam, and hearing along with the devotees. But when you open the book and we try to read on our own, it tastes very sweet. But the moment you try to do it on your own, it becomes very dry, So how do you understand that, and how can you cultivate that taste further, that even when you do it on your own, you can do it on a very regular basis? Because there is no vow for reading, there is a vow for chanting, So how do we...
Yes, sometimes when we are trying to read Gita or Bhagavatam scriptures, we may not feel as absorbed as when we are hearing. That's what Prabhu is saying. Different devotees relish Krishna Katha in different ways. Now you are sharing this experience of yours, but another devotee will say that while I am reading, I feel more absorbed than hearing. That is their experience. But whether we are hearing or reading, ultimately we are in association with Krishna Katha. So whatever is more natural for you, you can do. You can hear more, you can read as much as you can manage to read, but you can hear more, no problem. Point is, you need to be in touch with Krishna Katha. But if you want to specifically enthuse yourself to read, cultivate that habit of reading, there are some tips. We cannot give all of them now, but let me give you one. When you are reading, try to take notes. That will make you more absorbed in reading. It will not be dry. You may read one page, but you may write the essence of that page or the most important lessons or takeaways from that page in your notes in 2-3 lines. You read and reflect and paraphrase what you have read in your own language and then write in your hand. Some important points you can copy as it is, but you may read one paragraph. The summary of the paragraph you can put it in your own words in a sentence. You may read 2 pages. The summary of it you can just write in a small paragraph in your own book, right? And you try to see the structure of it. You meditate and you also introspect how this particular purport, paragraph, or this shloka, this translation is applicable in my life. How can I connect with it? You do it in a more meditative way, not in a dry way. It becomes dry if it is dry, if we are doing it in a dry way. But induce some juice in it by trying to underline points, by trying to note down important points, make a notes, make a flow chart. When something is described, try to put it in a pictorial form in your book. Secondly, apart from taking notes, what I can suggest is start sharing. You read for 1 hour. If in 5 minutes or 10 minutes, go and share with your friend. I don't get time. We are taking prasad. At the time we can speak. No, I don't speak while taking prasad. That's good habit. But don't you have any time? In the 24 hours of day, Krishna has given us 24 hours. So you can figure out, you can take out some little time to share what we have read with others. If you don't have time at all, cut down some of your reading time. If you have allocated 1 hour for your reading, read only for 50 minutes. Last 10 minutes of that slot, go and share what you have read with some other devotee. Then you will understand how much you understood. When we are speaking, we will understand how much we have understood. And others will also understand how much we understood. When we read, we think we understand, but we may not understand. How much we understand, it will be revealed when we start speaking it. 2 tips sufficient. And speaking is not necessarily with a mic or in a Zoom class or in front of a camera. You can speak in your personal conversations with other devotees also. Ultimately, we need to cultivate this habit of nourishing ourselves with Krishna's Nama Rupa Guna Leela even without any official causes, official reasons. Just one to one sit together. In Chaitanya Charitamrita, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, how many kathas did he give? Did he give thousands of kathas? He is a kathakar. He can be. But he is sitting with Haridas Thakur and for long time he is discussing Krishna Katha. He is sitting with Ramananda Rai discussing Krishna Katha. He is sitting with Rupa Goswami, Sanatan Goswami, and then one to one he is discussing Hari Katha. There are 4 or 5 people sitting together and discussing Hari Katha. So Krishna Katha is very best relished by discussions. Macchitta Madgata Prana Bodhayantah Parasparam. He said Bodhayanta Parasparam. One to one you can discuss. Not necessarily in an official gathering with 1,000 people sitting in front of you. That can go on, that should go on. But apart from that, let's try to inculcate this habit of discussing Krishna Katha even in our personal conversations. That will work wonders. Then it will not be dry anymore. You look forward for that opportunity more and more. Right? We interact with other devotees for so many practical activities. It could be what to cook for the lunch or what are the new models of smartphones available in the market or some current affairs, something else. We can discuss Krishna Katha. Thank you.